Hey everyone, welcome back to our economic series. This is session 4, and today we are diving into something super exciting. The chapter class name is Understanding of the Consumer Behavior. So I'll give you a very good example because I already covered. There's a 5 page my PPT, and in the first page you can see the what is the preferences, utility, and equilibrium. Because then you guys can understand the consumer choice theory. So I'll just give you a very good example why you pick a snack over another and why you stop after two slices of pizza instead of eating the whole thing. So today's we going to see exactly why. It is about getting the most happiness from our limited money. Let me give you quick and everyday example. Most of us know, imagine it is a snack time and you have a $10. You can buy a chocolate bars or chips or mix. But you grab your first chocolate bar. Wow, it's amazing. The first bite gives you the big rush of the happiness. Economics call this is a satisfaction utility. You can see in the middle box utility. Basically, how much pleasure or benefit you get from the consumer something. But here is the key part. Second chocolate bar is still really good, but not quite as exciting as the first one. By the third or fourth, you are starting to feel full and extra happiness drops a lot. Sometimes even feels like too much. This is called law of diminishing marginal utility. So that also we'll understand in the next slide. Marginal just means the next one or the extra bit. The more you have something right now, the less additional joy each extra piece gives you. And it is a why we naturally stop. First sip of the cold drink when you thirsty, incredible. But fifth sip is just normal. 10 sips you are just drinking because it's there. So this another example of the utility. The simple idea explains so how much choice we make every day. We all have preferences. Why I'm bringing the preferences? Because whatever we like more and we chase utility means happiness from the stuff whatever we are consuming it, but it fades we get more. We have to work within our budget because economics is based on the budget. So today we'll break down in the super simply by example. So it is just like maths. So if we understand the maths, so economics also we can understand through the maths. So now I'll jump into the next slide. Yeah. So my second slide is consumer preferences and the concept of utility. So I'll just talk about the 2 minutes. So that's also you can see the graph because in the previous slide I talk about the law of diminishing marginal utility. So now three things we know: preferences and utility and utility also contains a two thing: cardinal utility and ordinal utility. I'll talk to you in detail. So preferences, what is the mean preferences and what is utility? Preferences are simply how you rank things, like do you prefer pizza over sushi today or new headphones over new shoes? So we all rank different goods or combination based on how much satisfaction that give you. And utility is the satisfaction or happiness you get from the consuming something. Eating your favorite chocolate, utility goes up, and watching a great movie, utility goes up. So there are two main waves economists thinks about the utility. First is cardinal, cardinal utility, and second one is a ordinal utility. So now I'll give you the differentiation between both them. So cardinal utility means imagine you can actually measure happiness is imaginary units called utilities, and Apple give you 10 utilities and chocolate bar give you 15 utilities. That's like a number. But the other is ordinary utility. Here we don't count any number. So that's the reason economists they prefer this utility, because here we are not counting a number. So we just need to know one option is better than another. So here we can just compare like this is bundle A and bundle B. So which one we need to prefer it. And now I can talk about the diminishing marginal utility, and which we already saw is the chocolate example. As you consume more of something, the extra satisfaction from each additional unit goes down. So that's why nobody eats 10 chocolate bars in a one go. So these terms are very understanding. We need to understand like what is utility, and utility contains two: ordinary utility and cardinal utility. And economics to use the ordinary utility because we don't have to counting. And also in this graph I put a lot of graphs to understand what is the units and what is the total unit utility and what is the marginal utility. So it gives a lot of information in the second slide. Now I'll go to the number slide 3. So slide 3, I will cover cardinal utility theory. Like as I mentioned, cardinal utility, we need to count the numbers. So now let's look at the cardinal utility theory, the older approach where we pretend we can measure happiness in the utilities. Like it could be 10, it could be 15, and then we can sum up. The first one is utility measurable and additive. Total utility is just adding up the utilities from the each units. So that's the first point. And second point is marginal utility, the extra utility you get from one more unit. And the third one is a law of diminishing marginal utility. MU falls as you consume more. So that also I gave the example. And the last one is a consumer equilibrium. You get the maximum happiness when the marginal utility per dollar is the same every good you buy. In simple words, MU of good A divided by price of A and MU of good B divided by price of B. So why I'm bringing this example, so you can see the example because of diminishing margin utility is the main reason demand curve slope down. So you can see the in the diminishing the slope is going down. As you get more of something, each extra unit is worth less to you. So as example, the first apple gives you the high mu and the second less and third even more less. So you would pay more of the first apple than the 10th apple. So that's a create a classic example of the downgrade sloping demand curve. So this is the understanding of the third slides. It gives you more information when you read all the points like middle utility, marginal utility, and law of diminishing and consumer equilibrium. And now I'll jump into the slide fourth. So slide 4, I'll talk about ordinal utility theory ranking your choices with indifference curves. Even economics prefer this utility. Uh, so these are the point. Now we move to the modern utility, the ordinal utility, and indifference curves. That's what you will see in the most next textbooks. Here we don't measure utilities, we just rank bundles. In indifference curves shows all the different combination of the two goods that give you exactly the same level of satisfaction. You are indifferent between any point on the same curve. So the key features are here. You can see the features. So in the right side I put downward sloping. What is the meaning? If you have less of one good and you need more of other to stay equally happy. So that's a first understanding. And second is convex to the origin, board inward. This comes from the diminishing of the marginal utility substitution. MRS is a short form. As you get more of one good, you are willing to give up less of other to get one extra unit. Second, and the third point is higher curves mean more utility. The farther from the origin, the better off you are. The never interact, and the last one never interact. Each curve represents a unique level of utility. So when you see the my fourth slide, it gives a clear picture about the understanding about the key concept. First, I already explained preferences ranking, downgrading, sloping, marginal rates like MRS, and diminishing MRS. So what does it mean? I already you can see in my slide. I can upload also, so we can read it. So that gives a more understanding. And also I want to talk about the little thing about the budget, because if you don't do budget, we don't it's very difficult to in our life also. So budget means line shows every possible combination of two goods you can actually afford with your income and the current prices. So if your income increases, the whole line shifts outward. If the price of one good falls, the line pivots outward from that side. So I'll just give you the example. For example, you have $100 budget and apple $2 each, books $10 each. You can buy 50 apples and zero books, and 10 book, or it might be 10 books or zero apple, but any combination along with the straight line between these points. So that we need to understand how we manage a budget. So this is my fourth slide, and now I'll cover my last slide, then I'll finish on my this session. Already over 10 minutes, so I'll just take 2 more minutes before finishing off. So the my last point is consumer equilibrium, finding your sweet spot. That's a very important to understand. Finally, we bring it all together. Consumer equilibrium. What is this? This is the point where you get the maximum possible utility given your budget. On the graph, there that's where the budget line just touches in the highest possible indifference curve. At that tangent point, the slope of the indifference curve, which is the MRS, equals the slope of the budget line, the price ratio. So I will already given some formula also. I'll just uh, like MRS equal to price of X divided by price of Y. This is your optimal choice. Any move away from the point would make you less happy. This single point explains why we buy the exact mix of goods we do. It is the sweet spot between what we love and what we can afford. So this is my uh, fifth um, fourth session. So before finishing off, and that's the consumer behavior is a nutshell. We rank what we like preferences, get happiness from stuff like utility, notice extra happiness, fade diminishing marginal utility, face limit budget line, and choose the best spot as the equilibrium. And this is the foundation of the understanding demand, prices, and markets. If this video helped you understand why you make choice you do, please hit the like button and subscribe for more beginners economics, and drop a comment. What's one thing you buy where diminishing marginal utility kicks in the real test? Thank you. And probably within 1 to 2 weeks, I'll give you next my session in the economics. And please subscribe my channel and share to your family friends. Bye.